Welcome back, everybody. It is August 1st of 2025, and this is episode 80 of What is on My Desk. So we are back for another one of my monthly What is on My Desk workbench updates, and we have progress. I have no new kits to show you, unfortunately, nothing new, but progress on all 4 kits that I think will be significantly more than was expected. It's been a good couple of months. I've had some time off work. I've actually had time off work. My days off haven't been too busy, so I've been able to spend some time down here at the bench plugging away at these kits. So as I said, progress is good. As well, before we jump into the video, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for everybody who is out there watching these videos. If you haven't yet and you do enjoy what you're watching, down below, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As well, I now have a members section. Obviously, there's no obligation for anybody to join. If you do want to join, down below in the description, you'll find a link to that. Early access to videos. I'm going to be doing some members only live streams in the future. Some cool perks if you decide, depending on what level you guys get into. So if you're interested, you'd like to help support the channel, please check that out. Otherwise, let's jump right into this video. And as always, my name is Sean, and this is Sean's Aviation. Okay, here we are, folks, back for another update at the desk, and as I mentioned, there are going to be no new products or anything to be covered in this video, just strictly progress of the kits, and it's good progress. If all goes well, these should be finished by probably by the next update. So I'll start with the the F14. It has the most work left to do out of all of them, but as you can see, it's painted, it's decaled, it's actually finished. The next step I have on this is to hit it with a coat of a semi-gloss. I'm not going to do a flat coat or a gloss coat. This is just going to be a semi-gloss coat. I've kept the weathering pretty much pristine. The only thing I've done is added a little bit of black wash to the vents. I still do need to paint the red. I guess that's the next step. I got to paint the red inside the spoilers. Then I'll hit it with a semi-gloss coat. And then I can start doing the final assembly, pulling the masking, getting this base finished, getting it all glued together, getting the pylons, all the final little tidbits. I've still got to make the pitot tube. It's going to be the long prototype pitot tube I got to make. Probably do some stretch sprue. I got to figure that one out still. But next step is going to be masking and painting the red, and then moving on with, as I said, semi-gloss. And then all the final bits. But there's not much left. Really, this is the extent of... this is all I have to put on. That's the kit. Red, semi-gloss, pull the masking, burner cans, pylons, hook, some of the pitot tubes and antennas, the long pitot tube, and I'm done. So it's still technically the farthest back in progress, but it's probably going to be one of the quicker ones to finish because there's so little I have to do on it. So it has turned out really nice. It's going to look really cool on the shelf. Especially proud of the whole asymmetric wing look to it. It looks really good. So next up is the A6 Intruder, and it's looking really good. As I mentioned, if you watch the actual build of this, not a big fan of the black wash on this one. It stained on the future. Like it basically embedded itself in the future, and I don't know why. I let it dry for quite a while, but you can kind of see on this wing here where wherever I brushed it on, it literally just stained the future and wouldn't wipe off. And that's not normally how it works when I do this. It normally just bleeds off the surface. So I'm not sure what happened with that. I'm really not sure. But anyways, it is what it is. As you can see, I've got all the landing gear. Gear doors are all in place. It's had its flat coat. It's kind of more of a semi-flat, not quite semi-gloss, but not quite flat. So pulled the masking. You'll see here what it's going to look like when I get the canopy glued on, something like that, with the open canopy. And then I've got a few more things. I've still got a flat coat The speed brakes, I have to make the actuators to hold the speed brakes open. It's not included in this kit. Drop tanks need to be flat coated, and then they can be glued on. And then I have pylons and weapons and all of that all have to be glued on still. And then some little things, the steps, the pitot tubes, the mirrors on the inside of the canopy, some clear parts, all that kind of stuff. So not a whole lot left. As I said, the next big thing is going to be getting a lot of this extra stuff flat coated, getting all of that assembled, putting it all together. So it's coming along. I'm getting to that point where I have to kind of plan out what I'm going to build when, because I don't want to, like, you know, put all the weapons on it and then have to try to hold it and like start knocking pylons and weapons off as I'm trying to attach, you know, pitot tubes and air sensors and stuff. But the other side is I don't want all that stuff on when I'm trying to manhandle it to glue all this stuff on. So I kind of have to figure out what order I'm going to do everything in. But yeah, first world problems, I guess. It's coming along. It looks really good. As I said, I'm super happy with that. And then finally we have the F5. And again, it's done. Flat coat's completed. I've pulled the maskings. Not much left to do. I've started to glue on some of the little things. I've got the gun barrels glued on. I've got the speed brakes glued on. Oof, almost broke that off. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start looking at getting things. Like I've got landing lights that have to go underneath here. There's the lights that have to go in the wingtip and the tail. That'll all have to be cleaned up and put in. Canopy glued on. I gotta paint the drop tank still, but get the drop tanks glued on. All the pylons, the ladders there. There's some other like clear parts that have to get assembled and put onto that. And then I gotta go through the instructions and just make sure I didn't miss anything. But this is easily gonna be completed by the next month's what's on my desk. So it's coming along really nicely. Again, looks really, really good. Super happy with that. But yeah, I've got that's the belly tank that'll have to get painted and, as I said, glued somewhere. I hope it lines up properly. I never actually set that. But anyways, I never played with this yet to see how it fits. But the belly tank, both drop tanks on the wings will be mounted in here. And then I'm gonna have the rocket pods mounted. These are painted already, the rocket pods. They're gonna get mounted on the outboard pylons with a bit of weathering. Like I said, there's still quite a few little things I got to do on that. Especially, you know, the tips of the refueling probes have to be painted on both. But yeah, they're coming right along. Like it's one of those, you know, you're moving along and all of a sudden it's the snap of the fingers and you're like, oh, you know, crap, I'm almost done this thing. Like it's, once you get to that final stages, everything seems to move pretty fast. Onto the B24. I have done a bit of work on the B24. I'm actually filming this on the 20, I don't even know what day it is today. It's the Monday, the last Monday of July. So I'm actually doing the live stream build of this tonight. So if you were there watching that, thank you. If you weren't, whoa, forgot that fell out. You can go to the playlist and you'll see the playlist for my live streams. And you'll see this one. I think it's live stream 5 is what I'm doing tonight. 4 or 5. This particular one, it's as you can see, again, it doesn't look quite different from the last time, but I've got everything inside the fuselage is weathered, is ready to go. All these bits and pieces have all been weathered. So the live stream tonight, I've got the pilot seats in here too. If you have seen the live stream, you know what I did, but because I'm filming this before I do the live stream, my plan for the live stream tonight is to start gluing things together, getting all of these interior the cockpit assembled, you know, the instrument panel and the seats, getting all these bulkheads and components glued into the fuselage halves, gluing the fuselage halves together, as well as the engines. They can start, look at the bottom wing, I can start gluing these engines into place. I can start getting the wings glued together and just start that process. So that's the plan for tonight's live stream, is the assembly of all of these pieces and bits that I have put together, and start that up so that we're moving along. This is, it's surprising how much I got done on those kits and how little I got done on this one, but because I'm doing it on a live stream and I need to find time to fit the live stream into my life, it takes a little longer than suspected. But this is coming along, as I said. by end of night tonight, I should have all of the fuselage and wings glued together, and then it's a matter of prepping seams and prepping everything else and getting ready for paint. So it's coming along. Pretty happy with that. So yeah, that is the status of the kit. So again, there's no new products or anything. So I don't know when the next batch of new products I'll even have. I have no plans to buy anything, but I don't usually have plans to buy anything, and I buy it anyways. So we'll see if there's anything next month. Next month will be September. I don't have any air shows or anything coming up. So the October one, I'll have a bunch of stuff, hopefully from Air Show London. But yeah, that's about that. So in terms of the channel, I've got the next RCAF history video, which is 448 Squadron, is coming up in the middle of middle of August. And I don't know what else. I'll probably have some more air show or Thunder Over Michigan air show videos coming up. Some more specific performers I can post. I'll get that stuff done. A few more built model videos. And as I said, that pushes us into September. And then we're back into more air shows. So exciting times. On that note, I will wrap this up. Oh, you know what? I forgot to... Oh, no, I would have done that in the intro. So yes, you know what? I'm going to wrap it up here. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time.